Okay, I like Zeno and his content a lot, and I've been told that this is about viewbotting and about embedding, but that those are used interchangeably, and those are two very different things. Two very different things.
So you know, if you go to like Icy Veins, there's like a Twitch stream embedded on the site. You know what I mean? Anyone that's on that site, it counts that person on the site as a viewer, even though they're not watching your stream. I don't think it's understandable. I think as a content creator, it's scummy. I have no respect.
That's no different than going to twitch.com and catching the recommended tab. This is an embed up here. And so these spike up here because people get them. Like, so that's no different. So if you're ever on this, so an embed is a real person on a real website. It could be twitch.com or otherwise, and they have a chance to end up on Twitch. So from Twitch's perspective, that is a growth metric. Those are people who are not on Twitch as it is. Maybe that person says something really intriguing or they're doing something really interesting. They click the link, they come over, they engage. Maybe at some point that causes them to watch more Twitch per month, or maybe engage in one of the alternative revenue models besides just ads, or anything like that. That is growth. That is probably something that Twitch on its own might be okay with, because that feels like a positive for Twitch. That is somebody gaining views. That is a streamer, instead of just hitting the go live button, they're hitting go live and then they're actively promoting their stream off platform. The same as putting clips over on Twitter. Those, you embed the clip into your Twitter and you say, yeah, check out this fun clip. I'm doing something interesting. And now come watch me on Twitch, or talking about it in a YouTube video. You are putting the idea out there that somebody should be engaging with your content on Twitch and therefore should be engaging with twitch.com somewhere other than twitch.com. You're not just relying on, I'm going to go to Twitch and I'm so interesting that people who already know and like Twitch will either choose to watch me, or when given the choice of lots of people, might randomly choose me, which is usually chosen by being in the top of a directory, being near the top. As opposed to view botting, where you are having robots watch you, and that doesn't benefit anybody. That is just outright cheating, botting in games, botting here. That doesn't benefit anybody.
And it's so obvious to tell, because you'll go on their stream and they'll have like thousands of viewers, but the chat is literally dead. And as a content creator,
there's lots of reasons chat is dead. Twitch drops makes for lots of views, dead chat. Something where people are waiting on an event to happen. When I did Housing Savage, we had over 1,300 people watching us. And chat was not, like, chat increased as we did more and more weeks of me going through Housing Savage, and the total chat increased when we went from, our average viewers at the time was like 20 to 60, to all of a sudden it was consistently over 100 pretty regularly. I'd been streaming a lot, and then it was over 200, and then it was over 300, and over 300, like, it moved. Chat moved. It moved like Xeno's chat moves, not like Asmon's, but it moved. But then when you jumped it up to 1,300, it did not move any faster. It didn't. And I don't think we were follower only at that time. We are now, because there are some individual people on the internet that are dicks, and it turns out making them hit follow to type something hateful and then hit unfollow is beyond their capability. So now we're follower only. That really shut down chat interaction in general, but thank the jerks. And so if you're around an event, world first races, the total chat interaction is not representative of the number of people that just have that up in a second monitor or a second tab because they're listening to it and they're going to toggle over from time to time. And so even if before you factor in things like slow mode, when you talk about like critical role, there's also just a lot of people that are just there to watch. I actually have chat hidden. Pretty much anytime I watch from a mobile browser, it's just hidden. So if I'm watching raiding late at night, I'm watching Xeno or Arthur's or Rin Karagani or Lama Todd, I'm usually just trying to take in the type of content that really is beyond something that I've spent a lot of time with. And so I don't really chat in their streams, and I watch them on my phone while I'm doing other stuff around the house. So I actually have chat hidden because it's a nicer viewer experience. So I don't see a lot of their chat. I don't typically do it. And if they say something interesting, I'll go over to my computer, I'll open it up on a browser, and then I'll engage. There are also some communities where it's not fun to chat because their communities can be a little bit toxic. And maybe that's case by case, but like view botting and embeds are two different things, and chat interaction on its own is not the single best indicator.
And prog is much different. When someone progs something for the first time that they've never cleared and other people have cleared, okay, like I watched her prog. I enjoyed her prog, but that was because it was new. After she cleared, I didn't give a shit anymore. After she...
Yeah, in 14, story progression is like this. You have a lot of people that don't want to spoil or whatever. They just want to be there for the big reaction. So as you build up to the big reaction, you'll see the viewer count stack up, and then there'll be some big reveal. You'll react. They might put a smiley face in chat or something like that, and then the views dip. But they dip because they know nothing interesting happens for a couple hours. And so they're just there to come and go. And for people who are known for story progression, there's a real question of what kind of content are you going to transition to after you get out of that. So there are different types of kind of movement through that kind of content cycle. And people might be there for different parts. So he's absolutely right to point out that it is different when you talk about prog. Because for prog, it's transactional. I'm here to watch you get the clear and all the trials and tribulations along the way. And after that, I kind of just want to go watch somebody else prog, because that's what I'm here for. I'm not actually here for you. You have that amount of time to convince me to be here for you, but it might be an uphill battle if I'm the kind of viewer that really just wanted to watch prog. During the world first race for WoW, I watch a ton of streams that I really don't watch the rest of the time. Not as an insult to them. It's not a dig on them at all, but it's really transactional. I'm there for world first coverage.
From like 200 average viewers to like 1,500 overnight, literally overnight. You can see it on the graph. I have no respect for that. Well, who cares? Well, it's easy for you to say because you're not a content creator. It's different for me because I'm a content.
No, there's a huge difference. And if somebody is viewbotting, that is outright cheating the system, and it absolutely hurts everybody. If they are doing something that I'm not doing, oh, well, they're just big because they're an actor on this TV show. They're just big because they're on this podcast that I wasn't invited to. They're just big because they have a big YouTube channel or a big Twitch following or something like that. And they see rampant growth based on something that happens somewhere else. You get to go be a guest star on Critical Role, and then you come back to your Twitch channel and it's suddenly huge. You get to go be a guest on Asmongold or Mr. Happy's podcast, and that makes you bigger in the 14 directory or whatever. That's awesome. That is actual organic growth that was just done off-site, and so it does cause a rampant spike. And so rampant spikes on its own aren't suspicious. The question is what's happening other than that. We have big spikes in our graph because I jump different games to different days. And so some games we get a bigger turnout than others, especially if that game has an event. And so if I'm doing a New World Twitch drop event and we get included or they include the whole directory, all of a sudden we have this massive spike. And then the next day I don't play New World. And of course there is a reduction in the number of people interested in my content.
Like, not only is the growth almost non-existent, but they're also debating sponsors, which, I mean, you know, depending on if you care about debating sponsors or not is up to you. But, you know, whenever I have gotten a sponsor, I've been happy that I've got the sponsorship. I mean, I don't know.
Most sponsors are not looking at stats with a deep understanding of what gets them the most bang for their buck, in my opinion, because what they do is their business. Especially direct brand advertising. It's not done through a marketing agency. And so they are looking at things like subscriber numbers on YouTube, which is actually not indicative of anything. It really isn't, because you could subscribe to a channel that's 10 years old and it just stays there. But most of the time, subscriber numbers only go up. And so when you look at these channels that are 5 years old, 10 years old, they have these massive subscriber numbers compared to their average views per video. Average views per video is much better. So when I've worked with direct marketing companies, they actually look at average number of views per video within the first 30 days of that video, because most ad campaigns are targeted at a specific time window. We're making a big push right now for our summer sale or whatever, and we want there to be a specific number of views within the time window of that sale. How many views can the video get within its first 24, first 48, first 30 days, 24, 48 being hours. And like, those are metrics that I've seen actually asked of us. What do you guys typically get? And actually, you know, if you're a channel that posts a variety of types of content, you may want to break it down and say, here's the type of video I would like to do for you, and here is how the last 10 of those videos did. And so you can present your case and say, yeah, my average video doesn't do that well, but I do have this one series that I do every other week or whatever, and here's what I would like you to sponsor, and here's why. And so view counts are a little bit better. View counts are also problematic because view counts come down to basically click-through rate. The number of people, click-throughs and impressions, So as long as YouTube's promoting your video and people are clicking on that thumbnail, you're getting views as long as they they don't immediately click off. And so if you're looking at ad revenue as a determinant, so if you're looking at people who are reporting on how much a YouTuber makes, things like that, watch time is the better indicate, because then you're talking about number of likely pre-rolls and mid-rolls they've seen, things like that. So if you are looking at people who are looking for engaged sponsors, such as affiliate links, things like that, you would actually want to know people's watch time, which is not a publicly viewable metric. But subscribers are bad. And so when we talk to the Twitch side of things, what do you look at? Do you look at the average watch time, which is the number of hours watched per month? And so there is a substantial gap between the different channels, but that is the number of hours that somebody stayed. And so what benefits that is number of hours streamed. When you see the Twitch incentive stuff linked on Twitter and all that, that's actually prorated. So if they offer you to pay out $100 for 100 hours and you only stream 50 of those hours, you get 50 of those dollars. It's staggered in. So you're looking at the total number of hours, because if you're only live for 5 hours, it takes a lot of people to get to 200,000 hours of watch time. So you really want to drive up the number of hours you're live. When you're looking at things like that, you're looking at total watch time. But watch time says the amount of time that somebody, for a sponsorship like those fancy headphones or whatever that Final Fantasy was doing, that's the amount of time somebody would talk about it. So if you were somebody that's advertising a video game, watch time is very good, because that's the amount of your game that they watched. And so every minute that they spend watching your game, they're probably a little more likely to hit buy or re-download or something like that. Watch time is very, very good. But what if it's something more transactional? I just want somebody to see an ad for an unrelated product and make a choice, and the number of people, not the amount of time those people are exposed, is the better indicator. In that case, you would be looking at views, and you were looking at the total number of unique viewers across a stream. And unique viewers across the stream is really hard, because somebody clicks on, clicks off, they might not see your ad. Your ad's only showing at certain time windows or something like that. So total unique viewers, while that is something that Twitch tracks and does reveal in the dashboard, is not helpful. So then you would want to look at average number of viewers at any given moment. That way, whatever moment that the person has the little ad roll or talks about it, you would want to look at the average number of people that will be there. That is determined by the average number of people that are there at the same time, concurrently. And so that is referred to as average concurrence. Average concurrence is also how the Twitch directory basically sorts you, because they are looking at the concurrence at any one moment. But if you can maintain a nice healthy average, you stay at the top of the directory for a very long time. Viewbotting, though, bots can stay there all day. So they would drive up your watch time, they would drive up your concurrence, they would drive up your average views. They wouldn't drive up your total unique viewers, but that's not a stat that anybody seems to care about. And so that's kind of where some of these numbers get tossed in, and they're all a little bit different. But bots are not real people. They're not people that went out to Icy Veins, and Ren is somebody who contributes to Icy Veins, and they say, wow, I just read this article from Ren or whatever. I want to know more about this. I have a question. Oh, look, there he is in the corner. And I click on that, and then I ask him a question, and then he answers it. And there was this real transaction that took place where information from a real streamer went to a real player in real time, and that's a good thing. Bots are a wildly different allegation.
Two streamers, they both average 200 viewers. One of them has their stream embedded, and now they have 1,500 viewers, while the other guy still has 200 viewers. Well, a sponsor is going to take the guy with 1,500 fake viewers over the guy with 200 actual viewers. Wouldn't that piss you off?
So should embeds count as full views? Like, should they count as a portion of a view? Like, if embeds don't count, so when you're applying for something like partner, and you get raided by somebody, let's say somebody big, like Xenosis raids you, and he raids you with 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people. You need your average concurrence for a month to be over, the number I always kind of hear is about 75, but you probably want to apply when it's pretty consistently over 100. That ups your odds. It took me a lot of applications. You'll get there. I believe in you. So if you can consistently get it over 100, 3,000, that would be amazing. And those raid ones do not count. They do not count. If it says /raid or /refer up in their little search bar, they are not being counted. Now, my understanding is if they chat and engage and stick around for a while, they will transition to counting. If they refresh the page, they will count immediately because there was an action taken by them. They are proving that it's not just an AFK browser that got left up. They are real people that are really watching you, and they count. And so when you apply for partner, those raids and referrals get subtracted out. And so I would assume for things like partner that embeds would get factored out. So if somebody is not, so if somebody's embedding, do they deserve any credit at all? Well, on one hand, you have somebody that is promoting the platform off platform. That is not a required or task or anything like that, but it benefits Twitch and it benefits that streamer. And so it seems like a good thing. The kind of person that manages a good Twitter following or manages one or more YouTube channels, this guy has multiple. He's got a clips channel, he's got his main channel, he's doing multiple things. That benefits Twitch, that he is managing his career off platform and then bringing that back. That's a good thing. If you've never watched those kind of learning with Xeno type things, they're awesome. And then at the end of those, hop on over, catch the guy on Twitch. Very, very cool. That's a good thing. So on one hand, you would want some sort of way of saying thank you to the kind of people on your platform that are choosing to take the initiative and grow the platform beyond what the platform can do on its own. It's not an advertisement for Twitch that got them here. It's you, and you deserve a thank you, and that's wonderful. So on one hand, you would want a way. So maybe they should count. Maybe embeds should count. On the other hand, the vast majority of the people that went to that website aren't going to click that link. The vast majority of the people that went to that website might have that muted. They don't even know that that's going on, and they don't care, and they're not involved. So it shouldn't count at all. They didn't opt onto Twitch. They shouldn't be counted. There should be no numbers increased for embeds. 0. You want to do it? That's great. And if 1% of people that see you on that website come over and join your stream, and that website gets 10,000 views, then you will get 100 chances for people to become regular viewers of your channel. Hit that follow button and come hang out however many days a week you stream. That's a good thing. Promoting that off platform is a good thing. That makes sense. But it's not the same as getting a real person that came to Twitch to watch Twitch to stay on Twitch. Somebody who has already proven they're okay with the ecosystem. So they're either tolerant of the ads or they are actively engaging in things like Turbo or gifting subs or actually just buying their own sub or anything like that. And so that proves that's a much better place. Retention is way cheaper than growth. So I can see arguments either way. It's Twitch's call. It's their freaking platform. They want to make a rule against embeds, make a rule against embeds. I have no doubt they can track it. I can see on my YouTube dashboard that YouTube shows me how often my views are viewed off platform or on mobile or on. So like I know when I have various videos that are being shared because I can see it. So I can't imagine that Twitch is not aware of this.
Sponsors collect viewer number, comment count. That's not true. I can tell you 100% that's not true. You are incorrect.
Sponsors do not have that information. Sponsors are pulling this from third-party websites that are just guessing, things like Social Blade that can be wildly inaccurate. And then they're asking you. And then it's up to you whether or not to be honest with the sponsor about what you think it is. I prefer ongoing relationships with sponsors to transactional ones. I've done both. And so I've found that ongoing ones work a lot better. And so my relationship with Huel was for the second half of 2022, and now we're moving into 2023 with them. I enjoy working with them. I enjoy their product. I find it a really affordable way to bring good nutrition into my life. And I like saying that, and that's awesome. And I like the feedback that I get from the community members who have tried it. And so I'm going to continue that relationship into 2023. They're happy with me. I'm happy with them. And so that's just a much easier transaction for me. And then there's nothing deceitful about it, because at that point, they're not basing it on my view counts. They're not basing it on anything, because they have real data. They know roughly how many people from my community are ordering Huel on a monthly basis, and then they pay me for that accordingly.
I didn't actually make any money off of Twitch for like 2 years. So I spent basically like 2.5 to 3 years living paycheck to paycheck, completely broke, scrounging for viewers. And then you have these people that just get embedded and then they do that. I can't. It's just a shortcut that is extremely scummy.
In theory, the embed is also more valuable than that. It's not just, oh, if I was given that. In theory, you are a collaborator on a website, and that website says, hey, here's this person who writes a third or all of our articles, and if you'd like to watch them, you'd watch them, right? So if Annie Fuchsia is a big collaborator on Wowhead and a big promoter of Wowhead, and she gets embedded, or Novel or something like that, then that makes more sense. It's not me on Wowhead, right? Which in theory wouldn't have the best conversion anyway, because people be watching Wowhead and they go, who the hell is that? So ideally, you're on Xenosys.com and you're checking out all these great Xenosys takes on things, and then below that it goes, hey, he's live right now. I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna go over there. And so like ideally that it's a little more than that. It's not just like, oh, they didn't have to earn anything. They just clicked a button and now they're on a website. So I think he's romanticizing his journey, implying that if you work hard, you will make it to that other end. And he didn't say that, but there is this implication sometimes that hard work pays off, and it doesn't. Sometimes hard work is just hard work. And so there is this idea that he went through this natural, organic, preferred path, and that this other path is just easy mode and you're done. And that's not entirely true. That's a little bit of an oversimplification. Once again, if it's viewbotting, if it's literal bots, regardless of who, that's not okay. But like embeds on their own, I hesitate to say like there should be no embeds, because I want Twitch to grow as a platform, and embeds are a way that Twitch grows as a platform. And somebody who embeds and then comes out ahead, but ideally things like if the embeds don't show ads, then they don't deserve the ad incentive for those views or those view hours or however they're calculating these things. If the embeds do not contribute in meaningful growth of a person's career and the likelihood that they stick around as a person, then they should be factored out for things like partner. Because in theory, partner is meant to be given out to people that they believe are going to stick around for the long haul and are going to invest in the platform and bring value to the platform, because they don't really take that many check marks away. And so like in theory, that's the guardian behind that check mark. It's not very clearly pushed out there, so like it's not super clear why one person gets a check mark at a certain time and somebody else gets it at a different time. I don't know, but like ideally that's what that would have. As far as like, do sponsors care about the 1500 versus the 200, they are likely to pick the 1500 person one, but if they're going to pick that person again and again, the only thing that determines a second sponsorship from somebody and a back-to-back is straight up money. Money. The other thing about sponsors is a ton of sponsors these days are really not paying you any guarantee. They've moved heavily towards an affiliate commission style model, where even things like Raid Shadow Legends, which is one of the ones that does a ton of sponsorships with people, it's still, you have to get the downloads, and those people ideally are making it to level whatever. And so like there's still a action-based thing, or the person doesn't get paid. It's not like you just show it on stream and then it does the thing. Huel only pays me if you hit order.
Yeah, so going on Allcraft was amazing for growth. I was really glad to be on there, man. It was fun. I had a lot of fun. It was cool when he played 14.
So talking about Allcraft is a good example of somewhere that you went outside of your community, not with the number of hours that you were necessarily live. Maybe you weren't live while you were on Allcraft. I don't know. And so you went and you did something outside of it. It happened to be on thing on Twitch, but it wouldn't have to be. If you went and were a guest on some big YouTube show, or you were on a news spot, or you were a host of a convention or something like that, it would benefit your stream. And so like Felicia Day playing whatever, she's off playing Stardew Valley, is not necessarily growing within the Stardew Valley directory because of her brilliant Stardew Valley play. She may be really fun to watch play Stardew Valley, but that's not what got her growth. What got her growth is all of the incredibly talented things she did before going live with Stardew Valley. So there is a difference there. And so like, I think that's a really good example of the differences here when he's saying, I disagree with people who just buy their way, which by the way, I assume it's not free. I don't know how much it cost to viewbot. Never really looked into it, but I assume it's not free. I assume you're now giving up money every month. So you better be securing advertisements, or you're just upside down and you need a job outside of this. So any full-timer that's viewbotting, I don't understand that math at all. But like his growth off of his streams as Xenosys are part of it. And that's important. How like doing what he's doing now is not necessarily why he's as big as he is now. When you talk about like embeds and organic platform growth, covering that Johnny Depp trial shenanigans was enormous for Asmongold and enormous for Twitch, but it doesn't mean that covering the next big trial would be enormous for you. So it's not necessarily about looking at what they're doing and assuming it'll work. It's way deeper than that.
So this is what I'm talking about. If you look at the past like 14 days, or sorry, 30. So look at this. Like, this is so obvious, man. So he peaks at 514, which is good. That's a good number for Final Fantasy 14. And then all of a sudden it's 1530. That's almost triple in like one night.
Did he change what he was doing? So I know at one point he was doing Palace of the Dead climbs. I mean, it's a big jump. But I know at one point he changed his format. Watching him do re-clears with his raid is not as fun as watching him do Palace of the Dead. It's a big jump. Like when I did the Housing Savage stuff, it was 100, 200, 400, 1,000, right? And then it was also January 10th. And so January 10th was patch day, right? January 10th was patch 6.3. When people probably thought, people who are just casually involved in the game, they're thinking about coming back, what's in patch 6.3? Omega, Deep Dungeon. What are two things Rin gets a lot of viewers for doing? Raiding, Deep Dungeon. And then he also put out a ton of stuff on the new Paladin. Rin is known for being like the rotation guide guy. Like day one rotation guides. And he's not alone in that space, but he has that whole spreadsheet he pulls up and will talk you through it, and he'll do it over and over, and he's not going to talk down to you, and he's not going to talk about how other jobs are trash. Like, he's really positive about it. And so, like, there's a lot of people that like getting their rotation information from Rin. And look at this, 25,000 views on a channel with 8,000 subscribers. I said that number doesn't matter, but that means it was only published to 8,000 people, which means that it had 25. It means that somebody's watching it that's not subscribed. The videos before that were anywhere between 500 and 7,000. So it crushed. So there is a real logic to patch day, him crushing. And if he did a good job on patch day, and he was a great entertaining streamer and people liked him, and he said, tomorrow we're gonna do this. Tomorrow you should come hang out and watch me do this. Then maybe the next day people come back. So, like, I don't think this is immediately conclusive, without a doubt, objective proof. Oh, I've got the receipts, I've got the PayPal, I've got the back and forth on email. How come the botting isn't working? You said botting would guarantee me views. Brr, 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 brr. I don't see that.
You go to 90 days, okay? Right? And then all of a sudden, bam.
Here is the big smoking gun. If it was true view botting, why, when he switches games, does it fall off? The bots don't care. The embeds don't stop. If he's embedded to Icy Veins 24/7, regardless of directory, then the embeds don't stop. This is your indicator that there might actually be something going on that's driving growth. I don't know what it is. I'm not saying it's for sure organic versus not. I'm not a doctor. I don't have the blood test. But I am saying that if the guy's juicing, why the hell does he have a weak moment every time he jumps into Valheim? It's almost like watching him play Valheim is not as entertaining or rewarding as him playing 14. Also, if he's embedding, why does it grow over the first few hours? Shouldn't the embed kick in right from the get-go, assuming it's a website like Icy Veins that gets its views throughout the day? Every day, all day. Just saying, like, I don't see it as conclusive without a doubt. I'm well aware of our numbers, because to do this full time, you have to have the part of you that just loves gaming and loves making content. And the reason I was up editing a post last night, after hours. Like, I love making content, but there is another side of me that manages the business side. We're a two-person channel, so like we have some weird stuff within our numbers where it's harder to factor. I can't get behind what he's alleging. I just don't think that we can objectively say that it's true. Like, if we just scratch out the name up here and say, somebody viewbotted, I have proof, how do you feel about that? That's cheating. But I don't know for a fact that that's what this is. Because I've watched people spike over the years. I've watched people have these big moments. When Pyromancer came into the directory, he took it by storm, out of nowhere. And you can say, well, like, so did Esmond and so did Preach. They were massive before. Pyro was big before. Nothing like what was watching him. When he had like 10 bajillion people watching him. When you watched Annie Fuchsia come in, sponsored, get included in the Fat Black Chocobo campaign, and then tweet out that she made like $5 bajillion in 6 minutes. I've seen people come in and have this just immense success. The question is, like, what happens when this is 180 days, 365 days? Is this just a trend? Is this just, he's posting to YouTube, he's posting to Icy Veins, people are interested in his opinion around a time that there's a ton of tank changes, he talks about tank changes, he's posting regularly, he's doing interesting things like Palace of the Dead climbs that are fun to watch because they're tense, because what if he dies and loses it all? It's different. Pyro had such growth that he quit Best Buy. And if you listen to his job about the way he quit Best Buy like this guy quit that job by burning his vacation. There's no going back. If this doesn't work for Pyro, my understanding is there was basically to TLDR, they said, like, you're going to regret the way you're doing this. And he's like, no, I'm not. And so, like, there's no going back. And he did that because of the unbelievable success he's had in the 14 directory. But that doesn't mean it's viewbotting. It's not. It's real growth. He really did come into 14 and do something that really was entertaining on a wide scale to a wide group of people and got an incredible amount of support in return.
Nope.
I'm gonna say, like, if over the next month it falls, as people go, oh, so him posting every day is just gonna be him posting every day? like that's what's gonna happen. They're gonna go, oh, so if he posts every day, I don't have to watch all of them. I could just check in when I want to. It's going to level out. Now, it will probably level out somewhere above where he was. And as Zeno noted, if you're above 200, 400 in the 14 directory, you are big. In WoW, you're not even top page, bro. But you are big in 14 at 200, 400.
Okay, so I mentioned this earlier, right? But you have two streamers. They both average like 200 viewers, but then one of them is embedded on a site or has view bots, which basically is the same thing. Now this guy has like 1,500.
They're not the same thing. If you believe embeds should not be counted, that is fine. But the reason they should not be counted has nothing to do with whether or not they are real people looking at the website. As opposed to view bots is saying, I think that all viewers should be real viewers. Valid. View bots are not real viewers. Toss them out. Now, I think real viewers should be engaged viewers, not just people that happen to be on a website that's not twitch.com that has them in the background. That's a different argument, but they are real people.
This is just something as a content creator that I cannot get behind it. No way. Absolutely not. But look, man, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I think. And I don't get how people run their channel. They can run their channel and reach the clouds, or they can run their channel into the...
No, but you do care. You do care. And that's fine. Because it does affect you. Because it affects the validity of your space. It affects the validity of your directory. If you feel somebody's cheating to say, I don't care, is not true. If, like, he does care. This is not, hey guys, I don't want to talk about this, but I'll explain my thoughts on it very calmly. He does care. And that's fine. Right? Because not Ren's, like, his allegation is not that Ren is viewbotting in the privacy of his own home on his own private server. It's the real directory in the real space. He does care.
I don't care. That's...
And he helped in, I think, the Zeppela clear. I think he helped, I want to say that he was in the party with Miztech and Todd for the Pyro clear. So he's had some pretty high visibility clears lately. Zeppela clearing Ultimate, congratulations. Pyro clearing P8, congratulations. So, like, if I was ever a good enough raider or entertaining enough to be included in something, it can be either. I think, like, Sebi gets invited to things, and I love Sebi so much, but he's not a better player than me. He's just a better streamer than me. And so, like, getting included in things like that increases visibility, but those are temporary things. He has that amount of visibility to show people that, you know, Bob Ross doing raid callouts is interesting. And if they don't think it is, then when the visibility drops off, his concurrence will drop off. Now, it should pop back up for the 24th because he'll be somebody that covers Ultimate. But, like, let's check in mid-February. There's nothing going on mid-February. Let's check in. Oh, he'll be doing new Deep Dungeon stuff. So he should have a pretty sustainable 3 to 6 months here if this is all real. Like, and he should be great. And I think that's awesome. The things that make this enjoyable are that it's engaging, it's challenging. I get to interact with real people that have a positive impact based on the things I make and do. That's what makes this fun for me. What makes this function for me is the monetary support. And so that is people who come in and share Prime. That is people who support me via just hanging out and watching ads, or they actually, pull out their wallet and they swipe their credit card on either YouTube or on Twitch. And it makes a huge difference in my life. And there are many people that do a small little bit and it adds up to enough to pay my bills. There are a handful of people that go way above and beyond, and that's what allows me to do just a little bit more. And it makes a huge difference in my life and makes this possible at the degree I do it. I am live 150 to 190 hours a month, and we're posting to YouTube regularly now with an editor that is paid from money that this whole enterprise makes. That's all happening. And that's thanks to monetary support. But what makes it enjoyable is the actual people. What does the viewbot get me? Doesn't get me meaningful interaction, and I give them money. It doesn't align with either element. The element to actually pay my bills so that I don't have to go and do all the jobs that Zeno talked about and then make time for content creation on the side. Pretty freaking cool. And the meaningful engagement. So I don't see any reason to do it. But he does care. So it's not that he doesn't care. He does care, and I think that's fair. But what he's alleging here is not necessarily viewbotting. Viewbotting would look like this, but so would rapid growth as the result of meaningful collabs, meaningful updates to the game you cover that include the areas that you are already a known and respected expert in a portion of the community. I don't give a crap about the people who say, well, I don't like Ren because he... The people who do like Ren as a resource are going to go click on his stream on days that have major tank updates, major updates to Savage, Ultimate, Deep Dungeon. That's where they're going. You don't have to like those people or agree with those people. They like Ren. Ren likes them. That's the entire transaction complete. So he is already positioned in a spot that looks lucky, because lucky is preparedness meets opportunity. The updates happened on the 10th. He has been doing high-profile clears with high-profile people recently. He has been doing high-profile content for his community recently. He has been publishing content to his YouTube regularly recently. So that is all. He is an expert on all these things. According to many people in the community, he is a respected source of tank information, etc. That is all preparedness. Opportunity, boom, invited to more high-profile clears, massive updates to the game that cause massive interest to fly into the directory, aimed specifically at the area he is already prepared for. So he is already in a position to have immense success. He's already positioned to be lucky. So I don't think there's any reason to think that he's viewbotting, because you're saying like, well, that guy probably robbed a bank because he's really wealthy now. Didn't he win the lottery last week? Yeah, but like, it's too much money for just the lottery. Seems like a weird chance, a weird time to take such a high profile risk. Because if he gets caught botting, his career is over. It's over. Once you're banned from Twitch for something like that, that's it. You're done. And on the YouTube side, if you do something like that and you lose your AdSense account, you're done. You're done. You lose your AdSense account, that's it. Game over. So it'd be a big risk to do now when he's about to have his time in the sun anyway, because there were tank updates that we knew were coming. We knew from the live letter there would be major paladin updates, followed by an ultimate, followed by Deep Dungeon, followed by Savage, back to back to back, and he's already agreed to do a ton of publishing over on his YouTube channel. This would be a weird time to take that risk.
Yeah, I noticed that too, man. I've noticed that too. Like whenever, what is it, FFXIV Life or whatever, they'll have like thousands and thousands of viewers, man, and the chat is just completely dead. It's crazy. If I had my stream embedded on a site and I averaged like 10 viewers and now all of a sudden I have like 700, but I'm only talking to 10 people, dude, that would feel so fucked.
They do a lot of podcasts. There's not a lot of engagement in podcasts. It's a lot of listening sometimes. The Extra Life thing, they're a different animal. That's not the same. He's comparing 14 streamer to 14 streamer. That's pretty apples to apples. Bringing Extra Life into this, or bringing Critical Role or somebody like that. That's totally different. Embeds are very different. Embeds are growth for the platform, and it benefits them. They might not be paying you out on the incentive. They might not consider you for partner because it does not benefit those things if it doesn't show ads on the embeds. So if it doesn't pay Twitch directly, if it doesn't grow Twitch directly, but them letting you rise up your directory or whatever doesn't really cost them anything. It does hurt the other people in the directory, but that's not Twitch's fault. Or necessarily their problem. And so, I don't know. Embeds seem like something Twitch would be okay with. Viewbotting is absolutely bannable and should be. So I think it depends a lot on which it is when you start to pick a specific person at a specific point in time and allege something. Viewbotting, very bad. Embedding, Go make a website then and post regular articles that people engage with. And then tell people that you're a resource that's also available live. I know multiple content creators who only stream because they make content somewhere else that is not monetarily viable. And they have found that Twitch streams are a place for people to come and say thank you. They have told me this is why they do it. They're like, I enjoy the thank yous. People come in, they say, hey, I had this question or this feedback. I wanted to be able to chat with you live. And it's like a meet and greet for an author. The book on its own wasn't getting them paid because it's on a platform that's not monetized well or something like that. But having this meet and greet does have this element where they go over to Twitch and they find that a lot of people gift subs, a lot of people come in and drop donations and things like that because they want to do it in front of the person live. They want to say, hey, I just wanted to say thank you right to your face. And so they come over and they use Twitch for that. In which case, like, Twitch should absolutely be on board with getting to be the bank for that. Like, they get to take a piece of all those transactions. Why do they care that the only reason people are saying thank you on Twitch is because you did something for them somewhere else? So I think that's really great. And embeds to me are just a much more active way of plugging your stream. Just like taking clips and posting them to Twitter or telling people about it in your YouTube videos. That's fine. So I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal if it's just an embed, and I don't think that anything he presents here is conclusive proof otherwise, because this is one of those times where like I will be streaming on Monday, the day before Ultimate in Final Fantasy XIV, and on Tuesday I will leave the directory because there are other games I want to play. There is new content in those games. I'll be playing World of Warcraft for patch 10.0.5, and like in my experience, Ultimate dropping, while it is exciting and I'm going to watch it and I'm glad it's being added to the game, it is something that actively like hurts my concurrent viewership. So it's a great chance to go play something else, right? Because like I'm not an Ultimate raider, and so like I'm not. That's not my feelings being hurt. That's just a very real analysis of the facts. What drops on the 24th? Ultimate. Do you do Ultimate? No. Do people like to watch Ultimate? Yes. So are they going to watch you? No. So what are you going to do? Go play a game that got a massive update. So, Rin, hope you're enjoying your growth.